Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud, and this is the Challenge USA Episode 3 recap. Let's jump right into it. Right away, I have a quote from TJ. He's like, never have I seen a group so heavy and so hard. I love it. You know, and everyone's like, "Aw, TJ," and shit like that. Now that right there, what TJ said is is him. This is the new TJ, I guess, because really, you know, TJ was, you knew him just for ripping on people, right? For being negative for the most part. And now, since he can't do that anymore, he's going the complete other direction. And I just think it's funny. I think it's funny because I don't think it's real. But if it is real, hey, good for him, right? Moving on. Tyson and Angela talk getting rid of the weak players. Yeah, they're like talking to each other and shit. And so I think it's Shan or shit. Fuck, it's probably Shan. She's like, they're not stealth. I see them. You know, people can connect the dots. Like, they're two, like, sure, they're, you know, one's Survivor, one's Big Brother. But we know what they're capable of, and they're talking to each other like a little too much, you know? I also have written down right before the mission, because they're like, oh, we don't know what to expect and shit. And then they're showing, like, these short little glimpses of the mission that's going to come up, you know, right before the break, commercial break, and then it has a clipped version of someone screaming. And that never happens in the mission, and it just seemed so weird to have that sort of editing be on this show, just because, I don't know. I mean, we've seen that plenty when it was on MTV. I just figured if it was on Paramount Plus, some executive or some producer, someone new overseeing the thing, they're like, hey, can we not do that crap? Like, no one ever screams, and that's not even someone out of the cast screaming. That's like stock footage, stock audio, you know, audio archive. Let's not do that, right? So it was really weird to see that on this show. But the actual mission is Hang On Man. It's basically Hangman, right? Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because if you miss, you add weights to the other person. All right, yeah. But, of course, a lot of Wheel of Fortune vibes going on. But first they have to build a staircase, and those particular steps must fit into the particular pegs. The pegs have to go into the holes correctly. And you have to choose someone to balance, and then they'll have to add 10 pounds every letter you get wrong. The only question I had was, were the people balancing facing the puzzle? You know what I'm saying? Like, because they would get back and they said like, oh, I got it wrong or whatever. Because, yeah, I suppose they weren't. Because if they could face, then you would have two people working on the puzzle immediately, right? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then, you have to solve the phrase, and then after that, carry one big bag, race it back. Not bad. I mean, you get enough things for people to do. The one thing I did notice, though, is that there's such an increase in puzzles, spelling, trivia, you know, that sort of thing. In these past two Paramount Plus games, it might even been present in Spies, Lies, and Allies. But like these last three missions, or the first three missions of this show, has included math, and then what was it called? Scrabble, right? And then now with this Wheel of Fortune sort of hangman thing, you know? So I think, okay, so people say it's a leveler. It makes things even and stuff. Yeah, well, what if you're just not good at trivia and puzzles all the time? You know, that means you have like zero chance of winning these things. I think if it's spread out a little bit more, Yeah, sure. And also, they're always saying like, "Oh, it's just physical, so good to put in some mind shit." Well, older seasons put in heights. They put in things where you would have to use just your hearing or something. There was so many variety in those old shows that the producers, I guess, just don't remember. They're just like, oh, it's so weird. Everything's so physical, and then we try and make it better by adding puzzles. It's like, no, there's so many more things that could be done on this show, but whatever. Sean or Shan, fuck, what's her fucking name? I think she's Survivor, but she's like, oh, this is the winner's edit right here. And I think she, like, I don't know, sings this little song that she made up. And I guess she did that before in Survivor or something like that. But I like the meta-ness of, like, the winner's edit. It's pretty sweet. Next I have Tyson and Alyssa. Oh, where, like, before it even starts, Tyson's like, these people aren't ready. Someone once said that they bike 12 miles, and that's not even a warm-up or something like that. And Alyssa laughs. She's like, that was me. that was pretty good. Next, I have that cowboy dude. Who's the guy who wears the cowboy hat from Survivor? I want to say Sean, but that's probably not it. No, Ben. Yeah, Ben. He's like, okay, when you do Wheel of Fortune, it's RSTLNE. I'm going to take the E. And to me, that was truly bizarre. I think you could get a lot more mileage out of the RSTLNE N, right? The E is it's just the vowel. I don't know. I never really used the vowels as much. But then again, I never went on Survivor. So next we have Enzo, and he has the letter. He's like, A. And then the producer's like, yeah, what? What do you want? He's like, no, the letter A. O. He's got the... I don't know. I felt like the letter A for his very first card was hilarious. Next we have Danny, where he mentions his wife once again. This is the third episode. He's mentioned his wife every single time, and I like it. I do wish one day I'm like, hey man, I won't fucking stop talking about my goddamn wife. It's really weird. I want that. That's relationship goals, but long distance, right? Tasha and James. Oh shit, yeah. Tasha, she has to hold a 10-pound weight because James gets this thing wrong, but then it touches, and they're the first one to touch the ground with the weight, and that sucks. Next we have Kyland and Angela just beat Ben and whoever he was with to get first place. The letters were the options were like flutes options. The answers, flutes from Finland and candles from Canada. Interesting. Let's see here. In between, I think afterwards, back at the home, I have Justine and Leo are talking, and she's like, Leo doesn't have a social game, but I don't think he knows that. That was a nice little thing. And then fucking Cache and Dominic get into a thing because Dominic wants to go in, and Cache is like, you gotta play smart, and Dominic's like, oh, thank you for telling me to play fucking smart. Get the fuck out of here. It's very much like Enzo, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I care for this Dominic guy. I don't know what it is. He's just like, I work construction. I'm the fucking boss. When I say go and shit like that. But it's like, dude, we're not constructing anything. You're on the challenge. Yeah, I don't know. Even though he'll go on to like win, I still don't care for him. That's fine. I don't know. Maybe he was better in Survivor or something like that, and maybe he just did not click with Cache. But moving on to that weird deliberation part where the winners have to talk to the losers. And And it's not like they have to fulfill their wishes whatsoever. It's a very bizarre idea by the producers to have this happen. My idea to make this at all relevant would be like, hey man, Kylan and Angela could say like, hey James, Tasha, you have two options, right? Either you give you say who you don't want to go against, and you say who you want to go against, right? Now, if Kylan and Angela decide to not give them who they want and put in whoever they want, just not the persons they don't want to go against, that's fine, right? Because they're like, no, we like, say we for some reason want to get Tyson out of here right now, so we're throwing him in against you guys. Sorry. But if they actually give James and Tasha who they want, they get money for doing so. I think that's pretty sweet. It's like, like just like maybe an extra 500 or something like that, just a little something if you choose to give the losers who they want, I don't know. I think that's interesting, right? Okay, so going into elimination, I think it's Kylan Kylan has like the best little thing where he's like, we want to get rid of the people that are less prepared. And to me, I was like, that is a classy ass way of saying you want to get rid of the weak players, right? Because that's how Tyson and Angela talk. They're just like, the weaklings, let them die and shit like that. But Kylan's like less prepared, and that's so beautiful. I want to use that on the next person I just fucking hate. I'm like, you are so less prepared. And they're like, you went from angry to supportive in like a fraction of a second. I feel like you're condescending to us. Okay, so let's talk about plug and play, where your one partner has to go in the water, unhook the puzzle pieces or the tower pieces, whatever it is. Partner has to put that shit together, from what I remember, right? Yeah. Has to build the tower. Meanwhile, the water's leaking, and once it passes a certain line, you're DQ'd, right? And that whole thing is like, James does try and cover the thing, and Dominic, and I'm going to say in typical Dominic fashion, and really I don't know the guy, this is like the first time I'm paying attention to him, he doesn't plug it in. It's just like, what, I'm the fucking manager. Your manager doesn't stick his foot in a hole. You get some underling, some weakling, right? Right, Tyson, Angela? But yeah, he doesn't plug it in at all. But yet he still wins. Yeah, and so now James and Tasha are going home. James has this nice thing about like how, it was awesome to put the uniform on for that first time. He's a fan. He's a true fan. And it sucks that he's gone. What else about Dominic? Oh, before they even went, Cachet's like, I feel like I should do the puzzles, or I should be in the water. And Dom's like, no, I don't, So, yeah, he's just so fucking arrogant. He's just, I don't know. I'm glad that they don't have to work together anymore. That's like one of the cool things about the algorithm. Well, that was the end of the episode. Sorry it was super late, and sorry this is so freaking short, but I gotta find myself a schedule. I gotta find myself a space, a quiet space. But until then, like, subscribe, comment. This was Battle of the Challenges podcast with Vincent Cloud.